the podcast late. One night in the box.
You know that's not fair. All right, hey, it's Cool Hand Randall. Man, I love that line. I'd forgotten. All right, so we're talking about Cool Hand Luke. Paul Newman. Did you see that cast? Holy shit.
Man.
Like the man with no eyes who shoots him at the end, that's Morgan Woodward, who plays Dr. Simon Van Gelder. Dr. Simon Van Gelder in a Star Trek episode, but in the other Star Trek episode, in my house, the best Star Trek episode ever, beating even Darmok and that lame hipster Inner Light one, is the Omega Glory, where they have the Yangs and the Combs, they have the American flag at the end. E plebnista, these 3 words. Never mind, you don't know original series. Anyway, he's so fucking awesome. He plays 2 characters in the original series. I guess that's my takeaway for normal people. And Wayne Rogers from MASH is in it. Harry Dean Stanton is the guy who taught Paul Newman how to play the banjo so he could sing that sad Plastic Jesus song when his mom dies.
Yeah.
Like, there's one more guy that I was like, holy shit. I can't
Dennis
remember.
Hopper.
No, you're thinking of Harry Dean Stanton.
No, Dennis Hopper is in the movie.
Both of them are in it?
Yeah.
And it's not about Vietnam? That's insane.
Yeah, I know.
No, it was it's the guy who plays Sailor. He doesn't have any lines, but he's this like big giant guy. His jaw comes out like this. His head is so big. That's the guy who wrote the book that movie's based on.
Oh, okay.
And the cool story is that that's based on some of his experiences in the Florida penitentiary system in the 1920s.
Yeah.
And the end where they're telling yeah, man, Cool Hand Luke, he was a magnificent male. That is basically what the book is. It's all these cool urban legends of this cool guy named Luke Johnson that was there about 10 years before everybody else. And the old guys were like, fuck, this guy was amazing. And so he just wrote a book about it.
That's awesome.
So that's all I knew going into this movie. And I'd seen it once when I was a kid, and boy, did I remember nothing about this movie. I remember the egg thing, of course. And then the end of the egg thing where they really hammer it home that this is a whole Jesus Christianity metaphor. How he's like a sinner who learns to, through his pain and suffering, he draws the crowd around him and teaches them all how to be good and sacrifices himself for their sins. Like, yawn, if you look at it that way, right? Yeah, good job, B plus in high school English. But all of that's pretty subtle except for that bit where they leave him lying on the table. It's like, come on, man, you even crossed his legs. Yeah, that's a crucifix. I mean, come on. Anyway, other than I kind of spot him that because it's 1967, and I spot him those 2 characters, Rabbit, and then the other guy's kind of wants to be, Luke's Rabbit. The guy who's he's all like, hey, fuck you, pal, when it looks like he's, yeah.
Are you talking about George Kennedy?
Not George Kennedy, the little weasel kid.
Oh, okay, yeah.
With curly dark hair.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Those parallels were pretty strong. Anyway, there's me babbling. I know your expectations going in was maybe you know who Paul Newman is.
Oh, I know Paul Newman, of course. I mean, I remember it. What's funny is this is probably the first Paul Newman movie that I saw where he's young. All the other Paul Newman movies I've seen, he was always just this older guy.
Salad dressing guy.
Yeah. I mean, there's this independent film Nobody's Fool. I don't know if you ever seen that one. He's basically Bruce Willis is in the movie. Melanie Griffith is in the movie. I can't remember I think Dylan Walsh, the name of the actor. He played his son. Oh, and even very small role. Philip Seymour Hoffman is in the movie, and
Okay.
it's a it's an interesting ensemble cast, right? And basically, he's just like he's kind of like the old guy of the town, right? And he's got a lot of history and not like
We immediately left Cool Hand Luke.
Well, I'm just we're talking about
minutes.
Paul Newman, so it's in the vicinity. It's in the
you're going through this whole other movie that
right.
me and Chris Sagasag
I'm
now
telling you a
watch.
little bit about it because it sounds like you hadn't seen it. So
I haven't, but like, what's that got to do with Cool Hand Luke? It's just that like Paul Newman is old at some point, and you saw those movies. Let's talk about this one, man.
Yes. Okay.
Let's pretend we're on a boat, a rocking boat of pop culture, and you always have to have one hand. Just one hand on the boat. So just have one hand on Cool Hand Luke while you're talking, and we'll be good. But wait, before we get into that, Chris says Jodon Baker is uncredited for I don't know which guy he is, but that's cool.
Isn't he? Didn't he play in like one of the couple of the Bond movies?
Yeah,
with Pierce Brosnan.
Jodon Baker's the walking tall guy.
Yes, that's him. Yeah.
And that's Tony, I'm pretty sure, Tennis Channel 007. What we have here is failure to communicate. I love that. He was in the showers, and Jodon Baker was in the shower scene.
Yeah. I thought I recognized him.
So you know what Jodon Baker looks like in 1967 with his pants on. Okay. All right, man. So there we go. I just think that whole movie is really intense and cool, and I like it. And it's over just because Paul Newman got drunk one night and thought it'd be hilarious to start stealing coins out of parking meters. And that you know what I mean? Like every single thing after that starts from the inciting incident is so nothing. I love the opening shot though. Like it's really close on the old time parking meters that you could like now we have LEDs that blink, so the parking meter maids can tell from the street. But they had big red metal signs that came up that said violation. And so that's pretty cool because it's a dumb thing, but it's still violating the social contract.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. This movie's great. I love the Lalo Schifrin music. Lalo Schifrin. I forget who he is, but he's a good guy. He's not a Mission Impossible, but I get maybe he is. I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know. It's been a long 4 days without Mimi.
Yeah.
That was funny. Oh my god! Like so many people sent me like PMs like, "Hey bro, you okay? Like, are you really gonna fall down a well?" And I'm like, "It's a fucking Lassie joke, man. I'm just making my friend Randall laugh, and I thought you people might enjoy it too." But like, even I got like 2 or 3 after that, like,
bro, you like okay? Concerned, like, "Hey, are you okay, man?"
Yes, and I joke all the time.
Yeah.
Anyway. I did have to be reminded to fill up the cat water. I keep the food right, but I'm like, what the fuck are they yelling about? Meow, meow, meow. Oh, shit. Yeah, probably half a day late on their water. Sorry, guys. Anyway, so that's what I mean. So, see, you're not the only one that skews off sometime into a weird tangent, but at least mine is like an old man thing. And like in that charming old man and his 2 cats. I hope he's got clean socks. Anyway, so who's your favorite character then? Don't say the car wash scene because like that's a little crazy.
Did you say favorite character or favorite scene?
I did. I said favorite character, but don't say that entire scene is your favorite character.
Oh no. I mean that was a funny scene, but like I mean the best character. Actually, the best person in that movie really is George Kennedy.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I don't know about his character arc, though, because he's the man. He's the syndicate. He's funding everything.
Yeah.
And then at the end, he's like, oh, what do I do without you, Luke? On his knees in the woods, right? And so that's a lot for like the apostle of Jesus thing that he's supposed to represent, right?
Right.
Because it's a, but I keep having to remind myself in 1967 that sort of thing was way more overt to people in your regular Joe in the audience than it is now. Because A, nobody
Yeah.
pays attention to anything unless it's a fucking TikTok, and B, of that, it like who pays attention to religion except religious zealots, you know? Like as a
Yeah.
rule in society, you know what I mean? It's
Oh,
like,
sure.
so it's not like, oh, that's a thing that's going on as a subtext of our society, right? I mean, it kind of is now in this crazy way, but for between the time I grew up, it wasn't a big deal. I don't know. Maybe just
Yeah,
where
no, I mean,
the place
I don't
that
know
I
what it
live.
is. I don't know if like I have like blinders when it comes to like religion or at least religious references. But like a lot of the stuff that you said, um, I wasn't even paying attention to that.
Well, that's what I mean. Like,
Um,
I don't think it's you, man. I think it's society. Like, in
yeah,
that's the point I was making. In 1967, that's like kind of like, slapping somebody like Joe Dirt on the 4th of July when they're wearing, red, white, and blue shirts. It's like, hey, everybody's patriotic or at least faking. Like that's the thing you get, right?
yeah,
And so that's how
yeah,
movies used to be structured thematically, right? Like there'd be
yeah,
the text going on, but there'd be a subtext for everybody else who, is paying attention. You can enjoy the film without even understanding the subtext, but it's still there for everybody. You know what I mean?
right.
They kind of don't do that in movies anymore. Like if you do, somebody like me or John Price will talk for like 3 months about it because
Yeah, yeah,
we're so starved for how they used to do cinema in the old days.
right.
Like, can I just rant one more second on the end of that? It's
Yeah,
because fucking Netflix is like having actors say, like, as a writer, this gets me so crazy. They're like, no, you have to say what the character is doing. He has to say in dialogue his action because we know that people are going to make spaghetti in the kitchen and they need to hear what's going on.
right,
And that drives me fucking insane. That's like you can't have a movie like 2001 anymore where it's 23 minutes until somebody says a word of English.
Would
You
you would
know?
you yeah, would you say that maybe they're just adopting the Marvel way of writing comics?
No, nobody knows anything about comics, man. I think if at best they came to solve the same solution in parallel ways.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
That because it used to be show don't tell, right? That's
yeah,
an axiom. Like, come on, we're spending all this money to do Ben Hur. Let's drive some chariots over some stuntmen, right?
yeah,
You don't want to go, oh, that looks like a rough one off camera, right? You want to show and not tell. And now it's literally, well, tell, and if you show, I guess that's cool. Like
yeah,
if people are paying attention, they're probably looking at their iPad. If they're not in the kitchen making some nice Dover slice thing with Japanese panko bread with a nice whipped egg thing and butter that it was dipped in.
yeah.
Never mind. That's a reference to back when we were talking in the green room. I don't think I did my fish on the air, did I? I don't know.
No,
Anyway,
I don't. Or if you did, it caught the tail end of it.
the other thing I really liked about this is like just the low key nature of the chain gang thing. Like I I guess that it was supposed to take place in the present day of 1967, although all of those cars looked from the 40s or earlier, but they
Yeah,
also looked in really bad disrepair and rusted and shit. So they could all be 20-year-old cars. I don't know. It was kind of like I didn't know if it was like the poor part of Florida or if it was, you know,
like Georgia.
supposed to be or wherever, down in the fucking humid place with mosquitoes you people live. Anyway, Eric, basically from like Athens down to Ocala, I guess. No.
Yeah,
Anyway, what was I saying? Something funny about it. Yeah, no, what time it was. It reminded me a little of Batman, the Tim Burton Batman, where
yeah,
it's like obviously a modern sensibility and everybody's like, but they all have phones with cords and there's like little steampunk vibe to the tech, and you're like, what? When is this actually taking place? And I think that they did that on purpose. That because you put it in the deep south, and then the bit with the African American kids
Yeah.
You're like, well, depending on when this is, I mean, this isn't like, it could be back to the 30s maybe, based on those cars. I don't know.
Well, I mean, they referenced that he was in war, so my guess would be it'd be World War II.
I guess
And
that.
then it could have been like 10 years after the war. So if anything, probably 1950s.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I guess that's probably even smart. It's probably the 50s for an audience in 1967. All right. Thank you for helping me through that. I'll be able to sleep tonight.
Yeah, no problem.
Dude, I don't even want to tell you. The reason I'm a little in a weird mood is because last night my schedule got thrown off so much. I was watching this. I really enjoyed it. But at the end, it's kind of a tense movie. And I finished up about 10 o'clock and I realized I hadn't eaten dinner yet.
Oh.
So I'm like, I should just go to sleep. But man, I'm so hungry and there's nobody here to tell me no. Wonder what Larry does. So
Larry's home alone.
So yeah, we call that eating our feelings. I'm like, my kid's in college, my wife's on a business trip. These two cats are looking pretty good.
Afterwards, you put on Risky Business, and then
yeah, I better put some dinner on. So
dancing.
I ate some really good lemon noodle stuff that I poured like a quarter cup of peanut sauce on and just ate cold while I was standing in front of the refrigerator, basically trying to figure out what I was going to eat for dinner. And so that fucking 10 o'clock at night, right? That's bad news. It's like 100% carbo loading. Like, what the fuck? Was I going to go run like a 5K at like 3 a.m? Well, I was up. So I actually went to sleep around 5 this morning.
Wow.
So I was kind of like go to the bathroom and get my water and stuff. And I was like, fucking hell, I've only been up for 12 hours. And like, that explains why I feel so loopy.
Oh,
but anyway,
sure.
that might explain why I was really focused in on this movie, because I had no distractions. And I even kind of like was suffering a little with him. Like, oh yeah, he's in the box for 4 days. I hadn't eaten dinner that day. You know, it's a similar level of torture, I think, for both of us as characters.
You were crying as he was crying, and you're like, please.
Man, that was a good, you know, if you think about that's the world where William Shatner was a popular TV star, that's some pretty good acting, man. Like, you know, it's a little broad. Everybody's kind of playing to the cheap seats a little, but that was the style at the time. And man, I really like that movie. Because Morgan Woodward goes the other way. It's like he doesn't say anything to the point where they kind of don't even show him. It's just like reflections from his glasses, you know. Anyway,
which by the way, I want to point that out. Like the beginning, one of the beginning shots of the movie, when you see the reflection of the truck driving by in one of the glasses, and I just thought like, wow, for like a movie at that time.
Just keep talking, because Mimi Rosenheim, who I told we're doing this from 5:30 to 6, apparently doesn't understand the concept of East Coast time. So can I just like text her? This will be
fun. Yeah. Go ahead.
Actually, I'll just talk to her.
You know, it'd be hilarious if she's actually watching this and she's like, "You did what, Larry?" And so now she's like,
wait. All right, here we go. Hey, remember when I told you we were doing DORK COURT from 5:30 to 6:30?
Oh my God! Hi, DORK COURT.
Hi.
All right, so we thought this was so funny, and I didn't want to blow you up. But can I call you in about half an hour?
Oh yes, yes you can. Hi, DORK COURT. I love you all.
All right, we love you too.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. All right, that was hilarious. I kind of feel like I'm on Jimmy Kimmel, and but I'm somebody in the audience. Sorry. Anyway, don't get married, because shit like that happens all the time. It's kind of like, you know, at year 29 and a half, where we're at, is it's just funny. But man, I remember the old days. Like, I literally tattooed that to the inside of your eyelids. Oh yeah, I forgot. I went to sleep and I forgot I can't read it when I'm sleeping. Whatever. Worked out. Yeah. She's adorable. We all just go, okay, honey. Anyway, so
you can't resist the adorableness.
Let's get that, and to bring it back to Cool Hand Luke, right? The most adorable thing I've ever heard is, sometimes nothing is pretty cool hand. I was like, okay, that's where Cool Hand Luke comes from. It's like he makes something out of nothing. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Kind of like turning water into wine, Randall. Huh?
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
We should
Nothing.
really
Right?
watch that movie again and think.
There should be
All
like a
right,
counter, like every
what's
like
all this?
biblical, like
What's all this
ding.
Sunday school bullshit?
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. I mean, I hate that I said it like that, but since I'm not really worried about burning in hell because God, my personal God, thinks that I'm the coolest of all His creations, so I'm not gonna skate, but I'm a lot more ahead. Like I'm kind of like Han Solo.
Yeah.
God's like, okay, you foppish rogue that just fucking lucks through everything. Oh, knock yourself out. You're entertaining. So that's why I get all those references.
Yeah.
Because me and JC were like that.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah. Sorry. Me threw me off. Where were we in the movie? Like George Kennedy's great. You watch his slide.
Because he also was in another movie I really enjoyed with Clint Eastwood.
Okay.
And so me growing up, I was always used to him on Naked Gun. So to see him play like these like characters with a little bit more gruff, like he's the tough guy, he's the intimidating guy.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, I always just saw him as like the friendly sidekick, so to see him, a younger version of him in these movies, so like I was so happy to see that he was in this movie. I was just like, just because I had such a great experience watching him in that Clint Eastwood movie a few years back. So I was like, oh, this should be, I mean, obviously the movie's been praised for many years and it's always Paul Newman, but for me, it was the George Kennedy show for me.
Oh, that's cool. I like that. You found something to like outside of the regular thing that they're leading you down the path. And I love that. We're going to give Steve Yukon credit for that. Steve feels like your stepfather. He's like, I love when you guys do this show. Like that's the whole point of my books. And I'm like, I know, man. Like it's fun that Randall does that he plays along. That was the other thing I wanted to tell you. Somebody, I was watching something today at lunch. I forget who it was. It might be New Rockstars. But they were talking about the possibility of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. being rebooted in the new Doomsday thing.
Yeah.
Just the possibility of we might see. Well, like their argument was that we would definitely see S.H.I.E.L.D. again because we kind of haven't since the show was on.
That's a major loss.
And well, yeah, I agree. But I kind of don't care about the show other than Coulson, right?
Right.
But I know that real hardcore Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fans love Quake too. So for Brad Moss, one of the intro guys for my Loose Cannon book, who's MSNBC commentator Brad Moss, he loves whatever that girl's name is, Chloe something.
Yeah, Chloe Bennett.
So yeah. So I'll say bring Quake back into the audience so Brad can have something to look at.
Yeah.
And but yeah, man, just give us the Stranko Shield. Give us American James Bond. Make Coulson American James Bond and sit back and collect money.
You know what? How about this? Because I think there's a lot of people that want Steve Rogers back as Cap, right? Have Steve come back as Cap, and then just have Falcon run the new Shield.
Yeah, that works. I mean, that something's up because everybody's coming back.
Yeah.
I know it's pretty overt that I think even I saw somewhere Evans even admitted he's like, I'm just playing Hydra Cap. But once you start doing that sounds kind of like, hey, everybody get Hydra Cap. Look over here when they do something else.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm doing the same thing I always give you a hard time about, but we're like at the 25-minute mark. So dude, I heard this amazing rumor about Doomsday. You want to hear it?
Yeah.
Like the whole thing makes sense about Downey being Doctor Doom.
Okay.
Because if you remember in the comics, at some point they revealed Tony Stark is adopted. You remember that?
I was it Bendis that wrote that?
Yeah, probably.
The inferior.
Look, so you know more than me. I'm just repeating what I heard like 15 minutes ago. So let me keep talking so I remember it clear.
Yeah.
No, but basically it's like the reason this Doom looks like Robert Downey Jr. is because this is all based on the scene that they kept showing, which is great. At the end of in the middle of Endgame, when they go back to 1970, he meets his dad as a young man.
Yeah.
Where they're getting pin particles and all that bullshit to run all that, and he says, "Yeah, I got the sauerkraut and the flowers and stuff because my wife is pregnant." And he kind of like does this look, and I've seen that movie 15 times, and every time it reads to me like he's just doing the math, like, "Oh yeah, that's me," right? But they keep showing it, and he does this quizzical little thing where I'm like, okay, man, just playing this over and over, you're selling me on this because Robert Downey Jr. is this level of actor. And they're basically saying that he's doing the math and it's wrong because he thinks they're in April 7th, 1970. But it's based on some stuff that Howard did where he always used the European dating and metric system and stuff because for some reason. So it was really the 4th of July, which makes Captain America's blah 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 blah, and that so all of that when they do all that and Tony does the thing and there's only one thing and he snaps his fingers. Do you know about Arno Stark? Like his older brother?
I've heard about him. About him.
So basically, Tony's going not like, oh, is that my math? He's like, oh no, it doesn't line up. She's pregnant with my older brother that I'm not supposed to know about. Not me, right? And just as this guy's talking, I just started going, yeah. I was like, it went on for a while. It was over 5 minutes, less than 10, but over 5 minutes, and that's a while. When you're saying just one riveting, compelling thing after another, and then you're showing the stuff from the movies that everyone's seen a million times, so they're not faking it. It's not AI. It's like, no, that's the shot where he's talking to Paul Rudd. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I used to like poo-poo podcasts and TikToks and stuff like that. Yeah. And now I'm fucking subscribed to like 17 things. And so I bring all that up because I ended up watching that thing while I was looking for a Cool Hand Luke analysis of the time to see if anybody was talking about how it was received at the time.
Yeah.
Because 1967, man, that's my sweet spot. It's like Star Trek's going on, Batman's going on. All my pop culture stuff, even though I was 4, I have dim memories of like how things were. And it was a 4-year-old's view of the world, right?
Yeah.
But I was like, that was my jam for watching TV and cartoons and shit. So I like reading as an adult. Like, I know kind of, like anybody. I enjoy that history of the right when I showed up. What year were you born?
83.
83. So that'd be like, think about if you remember anything in 1987. That would be the same kind of thing. It's like, yeah, okay, I remember like, my parents or whatever, and like the vibe of what was going on in the world, maybe. But like it's a kid's view, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I watched a lot of TV as a kid. In fact, I related to, there was a TV show on HBO called Dream On.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a great opening scene where you're seeing the main character as a kid growing up, and he's always in front of the television, and it's just showing you all the different.
I thought you were going to tell me that when you were 4, your favorite show was Dream On HBO.
No. I mean, I watched a little bit of it. I think when I was like 8 or 9.
That's crazy.
But yeah, no, like when I was 4 or 5 years old, like I watched a lot of VHS tapes.
Yeah, of course.
And so like my dad would record stuff, and so I'm watching the stuff that he recorded. So like there were like random episodes of Moonlighting, and so when I binge watched Moonlighting, because I think it was like on Hulu, so I was just like, oh, let me just watch all of it, because I love Bruce Willis. And there was like 1 or 2 random episodes, like when the scene came on it's like my brain kicked in. It was like, hey, I remember this back when we were like 5, 6 years old. This specific scene. So it's like it all came hitting back at me at once, and I was just like, I remember this. So
yeah, that's awesome though. Don't you love stuff like that?
oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, the eggs, 50 eggs. One of the cool things about shooting that scene, he didn't eat a one.
Oh really?
Yeah, they just would put it in his mouth and he'd struggle, and then they had a little bucket on the side and he'd just spit it out.
Yeah,
they'd set him up with another one. That was cool. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I was 4, so I don't really have a lot of like. I think I burned all my trivia and knowledge about Cool Hand Luke.
Yeah.
Did it make you think of any other movie that we should watch?
You know what? There's elements of it. Like my brain immediately went to Shawshank Redemption.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Just like I think the camaraderie. You know?
No, I totally get it.
And then of course, that, and then it also reminded me of what was the war movie that we watched? Steve McQueen.
The Great Escape.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so that's cool. I see that.
Yeah, because like with Paul Newman escaping and then they keep capturing him and bringing him back, it's just like the thing is that Great Escape I think made it funny, where Cool Hand Luke they made it more dramatic.
I was really digging the whole 70, it's what you call the 70s, but 67 is, you're starting to have like, the Summer of Love and the breakdown of like, the establishment and all that shit. And so I love the whole anti-hero thing where like even at the end there's still a reading where he's fine. It's just they don't know, the thing I love is because they make a big deal of the Walking Boss being a dead shot, right?
Yeah.
And so he's 40 feet away. If he wanted to pink mist his brain, he would have.
Yeah.
But he kind of gave him a little temple shot. And so he just kind of wanted to see what would happen.
Yeah.
Right? Which I really think is subtle and cool. I really like that a lot. And
wait, where did you say he got shot?
Did he get shot in the temple, right? In his brain, like sort of zipping by?
I thought he was shot like in the shoulder.
Even better, right?
Yeah.
Like, because if he's shot in the shoulder, that's not going to be that big a deal. Even though they're taking him back to the prison hospital in shittier conditions across winding roads, there's still a reading that, well, he's fucked up and they just transferred him to another prison and nobody at the gang boss is going to know. The road gang is going to know what happened to him. So then it's like, ooh, he's the cool guy. Cool Hand Luke.
I mean, I have a different theory.
Yeah, he's deader than dead. But that's cool because there's still the reading where they didn't get him because he's smiling on the way out, and they make a big deal. That's the one thing I think is pretty 1967 is like, just in case you don't get that the last thing you saw was him smiling on the way out. Here's a montage of every shot in the movie where he was smiling when they were fucking with him. You're like, oh yeah, okay, well they didn't get him. I don't know. I like that movie.
There's that, and then I guess from my point of view, because like it's what's neat is when you see the car driving off, like you see this like the traffic light, and right as like it gets dark and they're passing through, a light turns red. So my guess is when you see that red light, like he's dead.
Okay.
So that's one point of it, but then the other point of it also is because he's in the church, he's like making that prayer and like the whole God works in mysterious ways. He wants to escape, right? And so technically, by him dying, he doesn't live the life in prison. He escapes.
Yeah, but that's the whole Jesus thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's what George Kennedy is doing there at the end. Like, forgive them; they know not what they do, right? That kind of shit. So yeah, I think that's actually what the mainstream intention is.
Yeah,
I was just saying there is a reading for people who don't want him to die. They're like,
oh, I didn't want to do it
ambiguously enough that you can go, okay, yeah. So here's a cool thing. What do you think about the mom character? What and that whole scene? What do you think about that?
The mob character?
The mom.
Oh, the mom character. Oh, yeah.
Arletta, whatever her name is, something like that.
I mean, I think part of it has to do with maybe foreshadowing, because
like she lived her life pretty hard, and so did he. So just death is the end.
yeah. Basically, like her,
All right.
her basically saying like, I'm gonna die before I ever see you again, or you get out. And
yeah,
then
his brother John, whoever John is, kind of did that with a banjo. He's like, here you go. Now there's no reason to ever come back.
Yeah.
Like, I gave you your last fucking prized possession.
Yeah.
So it's very clear like what they think of him.
Yeah. And then there was that scene too where I guess it was raining and he was like outside or whatever, and like everyone's afraid of the lightning and thunder, like, and George Kennedy's character's like, aren't you afraid of God? And he's like, way I see it, he wants me, he can have me, here I am, or whatever.
Yeah, just put an end to it one way or the other, right?
Yeah.
I think that's I think that's been his thing the whole time, and that's why he was just enjoying the ride. Like the thing they said about the eggs, he's like, it just gives me something to do.
Yeah.
And that's what I thought was cool about the digging his own grave literally thing, that like they would just go, fill it back up. And then all I could think was, because I've done some work like that when I was a younger man and down in Georgia. And I just love that he just was like, all right. And after he fills it back in, he starts digging it again. And all I could think was, man, that first one was rough. But like this time it's turned over earth. It's probably not even really that big a job.
Right? Like it's it's easier to do it.
I was like, I'll hop in. Like they were like, afterwards when they were torturing him, and they're like, you have to clean your plate, and the guys in the prison were just, they come by and grab a handful of whatever that was that they were eating.
Yeah.
At first I thought it was sauerkraut, and it kind of looked like mashed potatoes, but like stringy, and I was like, I don't know, it's prison food. But like every once in a while, something like that would stop me because of the kind of movie guy I am. Like I would just immediately go, okay, that's set dresser's fault, but it's food, so who's involved there? Because those, you know what I mean. So I started thinking about like the shoot instead of the movie.
Yeah.
And that's what I was like. You know what? I would open up that like Mimi's been gone for a while. Do you know the origin of Flaming Carrot, the Bob Burton character?
No, not really.
From Mystery Men. Basically, Mystery Men, the movie.
Yeah. Oh, I love the movie.
There's a character called Flaming Carrot, and those are his friends.
Yeah.
So the Mystery Men is basically a Flaming Carrot movie without Flaming Carrot.
Yeah.
But he became Flaming Carrot because he read 5,000 comic books in one sitting, and it messed him up. And I always thought that was really funny because, like, that's probably what happened to me. I just, saw 5,000 Star Trek episodes. But I mean, that's anybody who enjoys anything, right? So I love that metaphor. It's like, my grandfather could talk to you about like homemade tying, fishing lures and stuff like that. There's like, well, this particular kind of wire is like 1/100th of a gauge smaller, and that's just for a completely different kind of fish. You know what I mean? But everybody has something like that about everything they're interested in.
Yeah, I think that if you have a real passion for something and you dive into it and you learn a lot about it over the years, like you're basically an expert, So like when you have a conversation with somebody about a specific topic, it's like, to the other person, you're like, wow, you're like an expert.
I never say that. I'm always a well-informed enthusiast. Because when I was younger, I'd be like, oh, I'm the fucking king of the hill of my friends. I'm like, yeah, but you're talking about you and 5 other guys. Right? There's smarter people than you, pal. And that didn't take long for me to go, okay.
So it's basically like the Good Will Hunting, right?
Oh, you know what? In this show, I have never seen that movie. Isn't that great?
You've never seen that movie? Oh man.
Yeah, and I'm not good.
Are you a Robin Williams fan?
I love Robin Williams. I love Ben Affleck. I love Matt Damon. I love everything about it. It's just I lived through all of it. So I kind of feel like watching the movie at this point would just be homework.
Yeah.
But
yeah. I mean, there's some great
congratulations to the
lines in the
lads.
movie.
No, I'm sure it's yeah, but you know what I mean? I've heard about how great it is for so long. I feel like I don't need to experience that for myself.
Totally understandable.
Yeah. So, yeah, we're not going to do that one because I don't care. But what do you feel like? I had Midnight Run on here, but we have the better deal of like we're doing something off the giant library that you keep buying despite being broke.
Yeah.
So, did anything in Cool Hand Luke make you think of like, do you want to watch The Sting or something? Like we do sort of thematic stuff. Does somebody have to die before we do their like well-known thing? Oh, I know what I wanted to say. When I was talking about the 70s, even though it's 67, it really feels like it's in the same world as Rollerball, kind of, doesn't it? Where thematically, where there's like one guy that they keep changing the system, and you can't get on top of it because the man's always going to win. Except Jonathan E does win.
Yeah.
You know, but I would make the argument that so is Cool Hand Luke, right? There's no better end for that guy.
Yeah.
It's kind of like how I feel about James Bond in No Time to Die.
Yeah.
It's really dumb and obvious, but I don't think there's any better end for that character that they had set up since Casino Royale. So I'm
Yeah.
like, if that's just Daniel Craig and what happened to him, and that's like a giant James Bond miniseries in the middle of James Bond movies, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Um,
Randall hasn't watched The Sting. I know. Can we just say to our friend, we're going to say his name correctly, Chris Seguisi, had gallbladder surgery. And like, I made him a DORK COURT shirt. And of course, I made the wrong size because I'm the guy that, like, I have this friend Jordan, my friend Eugene. They both asked me for autographed Astronauts in Trouble books at the same time. And I put them in the different packages. Right. So Eugene says, "Hey, Jordan has some funny joke that is for Jordan," and Eugene's is something about his, guitar, except the wrong guy has it. And so I told both of them, just mail them to each other. I'll pay for the postage. Sorry about that. Just me being an idiot. And both of them went, "No, this is mine. Fuck that guy." They're friends, They just think it's funny, but they're like,
yeah.
So I think it's great that Chris told me the size that he needs, and I still did it wrong.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But at least it fits.
Yeah. Did you see that on Facebook? He said he's shrinking, but it still fit him.
Yeah.
So that's good. And I sent it to him because I was like, because Mimi was gone. I was going to try to like get lunch with Chris, or maybe drive up to Mark's house, see what's up. But of course, there's so much shit going on that I'm, anyway. I just didn't. So I realized I'm like, I should just fucking mail this to Chris instead of looking at it.
Yeah.
And of course it comes on the day that he had surgery. So it's not like we would have been able to catch lunch anyway, because he's going through this medical thing.
Right.
So that's where the gypsy powers worked well. But of course, I had to stay on brand and send him the wrong side. But he said it fits. So that's good.
Yeah, no, it all works out. It all works out. Unless, of course, like you were to send him the wrong shirt, right? And there was like a
That would
completely
be funny. Just like some unwashed pajama bottoms I had on the floor since before Walker went to college and just forgot. I'm like, hey, how'd you like the shirt? He's like, what?
Yeah.
You sent me medical waste, man. What is this? Anyway, so what do you feel like watching from your list?
Well, let me see what I sent you here.
A heist movie, sci-fi. What's your deal?
Honestly, I mean, my there's no kind of like specific desire for any specific genre. That's why I like doing these with you, because it's like it could just be any random movie.
Oh, I got it.
It's because I haven't seen it, and like Cool Hand Luke, I really enjoyed so much. I'm like, I think of all the movies, that we've watched so far, I think it's in the top 3.
So yeah, Purple Rain obviously is better. Man, that's cool. That makes me happy. That yeah, you like. So, what do you think of that? And compared to your reaction with 3 Days of the Condor? Because to me, those are two bookend movies.
Yeah. I mean,
You no, it's I can tell you right now, you liked Cool Hand Luke better, didn't you?
Yeah.
That's
I
awesome.
just because I think it was a more fun film.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You know,
All right, cool.
You know, like I like Robert Redford. I feel like and chances are because like they did Butch Dance and Cassidy, right?
Butch Dance of the Cassidy Kid, right?
Yeah. And so I have a feeling like watch that be the movie where it's like, oh, that's my favorite Paul Newman and Robert Redford movie. I you know.
Oh, that's bold words when the Sting is still out there and you've just admitted you've never seen that.
That's true. That's true.
But yeah, I mean, that's basically like me with 2001 and Blade Runner. It's like, do I want my movie about exploring the nature of what it means to be a human to have spacesuits or flying cars? It's the same fucking movie to me. I love them both, and that's how I feel about the Sting and Butch and Sundance, because one is like, oh, do you feel like a Western or do you feel like a little mobster movie in the 20s?
Yeah,
you know, it's the same fucking movie with the same people, and it's you know, and they're both great. So yeah, what do you feel like spacesuits are fun? I don't know.
Let me see here. How about there's a few that is popping in my brain here. I like Ben Affleck, so I've been wanting to watch The Town for a while.
Let's watch that.
Let's do that one. Okay,
let's go. Because that takes place in Boston, right? Little murder mystery.
I mean, almost every like Ben Affleck film is in Boston.
Yeah, thank God. That's why I like that. And he makes an
hey, what did Stanley say? Like, hey, I write what I know, you know, and so I think that's the same thing with Ben Affleck, right? Like, you know, you're gonna write and direct, you're gonna do something that you're familiar with.
Certainly gives you a lot of comfort level that you know what's going on in the mise en scène because you grew up there. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, and that's another reason why I think Good Will Hunting did so well too.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll watch that on some date night sometime eventually. The cool thing about Mimi is she does not remember watching films. So if you want to see something again, you're like, hey, I heard about this great movie. Sean Connery plays a Russian sub-captain. And then at the end, she's like, oh my God, you dick. That's my favorite movie. I love that movie. I know, but guess what? You're the only one that doesn't remember that. It's like such a funny thing in our collection of friends that like Hunt for Red October is Mimi's favorite movie. And she can't remember the plot. She remembers like she hates when Sam Neill gets killed because he would have liked to have seen Montana. She remembers bits like that, but she doesn't remember the fucking plot. Like, why is Alec Baldwin wet? Because he jumped in the ocean from a helicopter. Are you out of your mind? How many times have you seen this movie? Like 30? Anyway, let me write it down.
No, it's a great.
Are we doing it?
It's was it John McTiernan?
Yes, but so
and
what?
And I love a lot of
John McTiernan did that and Die Hard, and then fucking did that horrible version of Rollerball. So I'm glad he's in jail or whatever.
There's a movie that he did with Travolta and Sam Jackson that I really like. Basic. Yeah. That's a great movie, in my opinion.
Sounds kind of basic.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, man, I know it's a little early, but I got to go get some food and get some sleep. I'm out. So if you don't mind,
let's wrap no problem.
This was a good one.
Yeah,
thanks for I'm super. This made my day actually. Besides you being the only human being I've actually spoken to, and even then on the Blade Runner vid phone kind of thing, you said that you really enjoyed this movie, and I like that. I like it just as much when you hate a movie because you have a strong emotional reaction, and that's what art's about. But obviously, it's cool that your strong emotional reaction is like, yeah, that was great. So I'm glad you thought that was funny, because I didn't really think of that until you said it. And I'm like, yeah, there's some darkly comedic bits in there, but I didn't see it in the middle of the night, you know, because So, but yeah, man, this was a great episode. I like talking movies with you.
I literally finished the movie maybe about 20 minutes before we started the video. Yeah, I timed it. I timed it just right. The goal was to like start the movie last night. like maybe watch like 15, 20 minutes of it and then come home and then just finish the rest. But I was so tired last night. I was like, oh, I'll just watch the whole thing.
That's pretty funny. Instead of 51st Dates, 51st Marco Aurelius. He's the captain from Hunt for Red October. All right. Anyway, that's cool, man. Thank you. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Tony. Fun talking to you guys about this movie. Sorry we rant, but Shivers told me that's part of the charm, so I kind of feel better about that. What's going on with you?
So let me do the catchphrase.
I was gonna say, got a catchphrase?
Yeah, it's like what took me so long to watch Cool Hand Luke?
Yeah. Cool Hand Randall. All right. Thanks, everybody. What's happening?